There comes a moment in every thinker's life when awareness feels less like a blessing and more like a burden. You begin to notice things that others overlook. A subtle change in someone's tone, a hesitation behind a smile, a pattern that repeats across people and time. You see the truth behind actions, the energy behind words, the motives that hide behind masks. At first, it feels powerful. You feel awake in a world half asleep. But soon, that awareness starts to weigh on you. It's as if you've been given sight into layers of reality that most people never have to confront. You begin to realize something that few ever understand. Seeing too much can hurt. It can isolate you, exhaust you, and make you question the very peace you once had. The danger of seeing what others don't isn't madness. It's awareness without rest. The human brain is not built to carry every truth at once. When you see more than others, you start to connect dots that no one else even notices. That might make you insightful, but it also makes you tired. Scientists call it cognitive overload. When the mind takes in too much information, too much complexity, and begins to burn out under its own awareness. You start to lie awake at night, replaying conversations, wondering about hidden meanings, analyzing every gesture. What others dismiss as simple, you decode into patterns. And while that gives you wisdom, it also steals your calm. Because your body doesn't know the difference between threat and truth. It reacts to both with tension, alertness, vigilance. The more you see, the less your mind rests. And soon the peace that once lived in silence disappears into endless thought. People who see deeply often walk alone, not because they choose solitude, but because insight creates distance. Psychologists call this the isolation of insight. The feeling that once you understand how people truly work, it becomes hard to stay innocent in your interactions. You notice contradictions, you sense dishonesty, and even if you don't say anything, your awareness changes the energy around you. People can feel when you see through them. They become uncomfortable, defensive, or distant. They may not even know why, but they sense that you are not easy to fool. So they avoid you. And slowly, the one who understands becomes the one who stands apart. It's not rejection of you, it's rejection of what your awareness reflects back at them. You become a mirror showing people what they don't want to see. And mirrors, no matter how honest, are rarely loved. The truth is, society doesn't reward clarity, it rewards comfort. Human beings are tribal by nature. We seek belonging before truth. Groups survive on shared illusions more than shared facts. That's why the person who questions the obvious, who points out inconsistencies, who sees the hidden strings behind the curtain, is often labeled as negative or difficult. They don't fit into the easy flow of ignorance. Their honesty disrupts harmony. Psychologists call this cognitive dissonance avoidance, when people reject truth because it threatens their peace. So when you speak truth, even gently, you threaten that illusion. And the cost of clarity is often belonging. You start to wonder if it's even worth being right when rightness makes you lonely. But this is where true strength begins, in learning that your worth is not dependent on being understood, but on being authentic, even if the world prefers illusion over truth. Yet awareness without balance can turn from wisdom into pain. The danger isn't seeing, it's never looking away. When your mind never stops analyzing, when every word becomes a code to decipher, when every silence feels like a signal, you fall into hypervigilance. You stop resting, you stop trusting, and you start expecting betrayal even where there is none. This is not awareness anymore. This is self-destruction disguised as clarity. Wisdom isn't seeing everything, it's knowing what not to see. It's having the discipline to step back from the storm of overthinking and say, not everything needs decoding. The greatest strength lies not in observing endlessly, but in letting go when observation brings no peace. Awareness should serve you, not consume you. If your vision costs you your calm, it's not enlightenment, it's exhaustion. And this is where selective blindness becomes your shield. Psychologists call it cognitive reframing, choosing how to see. You don't have to lie to yourself to be peaceful. You just have to decide what deserves your energy. Not every lie deserves your attention. Not every pattern deserves your analysis. You can see reality clearly and still choose compassion. You can notice the flaws and still choose hope. Seeing deeply doesn't mean carrying every wound of the world inside you. It means knowing when to look and when to rest your gaze. Choose to see what empowers you, not what drains you. The world doesn't change because you expose every lie. It changes when you protect your peace enough to act from love, not exhaustion. If you are someone who sees too much, if you're the quiet observer who feels too much energy in the room, who notices too many patterns, who senses people's emotions before they speak, remember this: you are not broken. You are not strange. You are simply tuned to a higher frequency of awareness. But even the sharpest mind needs rest. Even the strongest spirit needs softness. You don't need to understand everything to live fully. You don't need to carry every truth to be wise. Sometimes peace is not found in knowing more, but in feeling lighter. The tree that stands tall is not the one that fights every wind. It's the one that bends, breathes, and lets go. There's a silent kind of power in choosing peace over proof, in choosing rest over analysis, in choosing presence over paranoia. When you learn to let some things go unexamined, your mind returns to balance, your body softens, your soul breathes again. You start to see that not everything that can be seen must be solved. Sometimes what you see is only meant to guide you, not haunt you. Awareness is a lamp. Use it to light your path, not to set fire to your peace. And when the world misunderstands your quiet strength, when they say you think too much, when they call you distant or strange, smile. Because they don't know that behind your calm eyes lives a mind that has walked through storms of truth and learned to return to silence. The real masters of life are not those who see the most, but those who know when to stop looking. You can be awake without being restless. You can be wise without being weary. You can be aware and still free. So tonight, as you reflect on what you've seen and what you've carried, remind yourself, you don't need to solve every mystery. You don't need to expose every truth. You don't need to fix every flaw. Your peace is sacred. Protect it the way a monk protects his breath, with discipline, with reverence, with love, because in the end, it's not awareness that brings peace, it's acceptance. The courage to see what's real and the wisdom to release what's not yours to hold. And that, my friends, is the true path to strength, not in seeing everything, but in knowing what to let go of. If this message spoke to your heart, take a moment to breathe, reflect, and remind yourself that clarity is a gift only when it's balanced with calm. And if you found peace in these words, then help others find it too. Subscribe to Daily Path to Strength. Share this message with someone who sees too much and feels too alone. And let's build a community of people who walk with awareness, but also with peace. Leave your thoughts in the comments, because every insight, every story, every reflection adds light to this path we walk together. Like, share, and subscribe to Daily Path to Strength, where every word is a step toward inner clarity, balance, and power.